Hello guys, so today I'm going to actually go over the calculator part of the SAT. So I'm going to be using the decimals calculator that they're going to have on there. Hopefully this kind of helps us out a little bit. Now we're just going to go over a couple questions here, and hopefully it's good enough just so you guys can do slightly better on the actual test. Now the questions for the calculator part are going to be a lot of, you're going to have to think analytically for most of them, but they're technically not as difficult as you may think they are. So first things first, so we're going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and read the problem. Then we're going to highlight everything that's going to be important. This is problem number 1. So it says Sam's special hot chocolate recipe calls for 4.5 fluid ounces of cream, right? Now I'm going to start highlighting some important information. Now I'm going to highlight 4.5 in ounces because that's going to be what we're going to be working with. Now this is going to be of cream for every serving of hot chocolate. How many cups? So now we're going to be looking for cups of cream are needed in 24 servings of chocolate. So we're going to be doing 24 servings. So we know that per serving we need to put 4.5 ounces. So what we're going to do first in this one is that I'm going to show you the calculator over here on the side. We're going to go ahead and multiply because you can use the calculator on this one, so it's pretty awesome. So it's going to be 24 times 4.5. Once we do that, we're going to notice that we're going to get 108. And here is where a lot of people would probably get the problem wrong, because they would probably think, you know what, I see 108, that is my answer. Well, that's not the case. So let's keep reading. We need to figure out how many cups, not how many ounces. This is going to be ounces, so it's not in cups. So now we need to do a conversion, and that's why they give us the information right here below us of the 1 cup equals 8 ounces. So we need to go ahead and do the conversion of this. So that's pretty simple. So for every cup, we're going to have 8 ounces. So we're going to see how many times does 8 fit into 108. Now over here on this side on decimals, you can go ahead, hold the number, you copy it, double tap on the bottom because you're most likely going to be using your Chromebook, and now you're going to do Control C, which I don't have a keyboard for my tablet right now, but then you would do Control C, which would be just 108, and then you would go ahead and divide it by 8, which in this case is 13.5. I need to go and find my keyword, but for the time being, that's gonna be my answer for this one. So it's pretty straightforward. So number 1 is just that. Okay, not very difficult, it's just straightforward. Now we're done with this one. Let's go ahead and look at number 2, and so on and so forth. So number 2 is gonna be down here. Now number 2 is pretty easy. Let's go ahead and read it. It says, according to the line graph above, between which 2 consecutive years was there the greatest change in the percent of music sold as CDs? So right here we have this, well, it's kind of like a curve right here. We have a curve, right? We have this curve right here. What we need to see, or what we need to look for, is we need to look for the biggest change. Where did we have the biggest change? And this is pretty easy to figure out. We had the biggest change right here, right? Because it was really high and then started going down as we increase the year right there. So what years would that be? That would be what, 2016? Wow, what am I talking about? 2006 and 2007. So that is my answer for this one. Pretty straightforward. There's nothing much to it. That is just my answer. All right, let's go ahead and go for number 3. Now for number 3, we're actually going to go ahead and use decimals. Now the benefit of decimals is that you can actually start plugging stuff in. Now if you didn't know, there's going to be a little plus right here on the side. You're going to press it and you're going to press table. Once you do that, you can actually start typing in what you have. So we have 2. Now you guys going to have a keyword, so which is going to make things a little easier. 4, and then finally 6. On the other side, we're going to go ahead and put the other values. So 11. And then we're going to have 17. And then we're going to have 23. Alright, pretty straightforward. Now you can see over here on my graph, I have the 3 points plotted. Now, That's what I want you guys to do first. Second thing is go ahead and do another tab or press enter. And all you're going to have to do is you're going to have to start plugging in your equations over here. So you're going to be plugging those guys over here. Now what's supposed to happen is that one of this lines, so one of this answer choices, is going to go ahead and line up with all 3 points. And that's what we're looking for. So let's go ahead and type in the first one. So now if you didn't know, g of x is basically y. So instead of writing g of x, I'm pretty sure you can. Or actually, let me try it out. I haven't tried it out yet. So let's go ahead and do variable g, numbers again, parentheses, of x equals 2x, right? It's going to be 2x, and then we're going to have plus 7. So you can actually just type it in exactly how you see it. You didn't even have to change it. But what I would do, just so I wouldn't have to type in g of x every time, you can just type in y for g of x. Now, okay, so we can see that for this one, for number 1, we can see that this one does not line up. So that's not my answer. So we can go ahead and erase this. Erase, erase, erase. So I have g of x, and we're going to type in the second one. So 3x. And now we're going to go ahead and add the 5. Boom. As you can see, all of my points over here on the side, they're touching the line. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be my line. So my answer for this one is going to be B. And a lot of the stuff on this test is going to be like this for the calculator part. You're going to have to really use decimals to kind of do all the work for you. I mean, there's different ways that you can do the problem, but that is pretty easy. Another way that you can do this problem is go ahead and grab 2, plug it into the equation, and you're supposed to get the 11. If you don't, you know that that's not your answer, but that can take a little longer. This one was pretty fast, and I didn't really have to do that much math. All I had to do was just plug in things. So that's my answer for number 3. Let's go to number 4. It's asking a souvenir store is selling postcards and magnets. Okay, now each postcard is going to be sold for $1. Now magnets, each one is going to be selling for $3. Now Annalise, she's going to be purchasing a total of 10 postcards and magnets. That means in total she's going to be buying that, and it's going to cost her $22 before tax. Now, how many magnets did she buy? So what we need to do here, we have 2 different things. We have magnets and we have postcards, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set variables to those things. So P is going to stand for postcards, M is going to stand for magnets, okay? So now you're going to have to write 2 equations on here. And how do I know that? I know that because they're giving us enough information to actually go ahead and write an equation. Now, you can see that we have postcards and magnets, and we're going to go ahead and add those 2. Why do you might be asking, why are we adding that? It's because in total, we need to be able to get 10 of those. But we really don't know how many are we going to pick of each, so that's why we need to write a second equation for the second statement that we have here. Now, how many dollars are we going to be spending? 22. So that's going to be what my total at the end of the second equation. But I'm going to have to go ahead and find my variables for each. We already have them. So P plus M is going to equal 22. But because we're talking about money now, we can actually go ahead and apply the dollars that we have here. Now, for a postcard, it's just going to be $1, and for the magnets, it's going to be $3. And that's all you really have to do in order to actually figure this problem out. Now we have 2 equations, and what I want you guys to do at this point is type them out. So we're going to go ahead. Now, I would highly recommend, because I don't think it's going to work if I just press P. Let me see. I don't think it's going to work, but I want to try it out. So P, then it's going to be plus, then another variable, M. It's going to equal 10. And as you can see, it's not going to give me a line, so we're not going to be able to do this. But instead, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to set up this as X and this as Y. Okay? So instead of writing PMM, I'm going to put X and Y. Because what I want decimals to do, I want to actually decimals to graph my lines. So we're going to go ahead and take that out and put Y. Now we actually should be getting a line here, if I did it correctly. Oh, maybe not. Let me retry this one real quick. It should have given me something, but maybe I did something wrong. You see, now we have the line, so plus y is equal to 10. Oh, over here. Let me see why is it telling me. Oh my goodness. Oh wait, this is a different decimals. Okay. So apparently I typed in the wrong decimals, that's why it's not working. I was like, what the heck? So let's go ahead and do decimals. Alright, decimals. And then space, right? SAT. Now let's do this again because I think I just picked the wrong one for in this one. Okay. That one should be the SAT one, hopefully. What the heck? Okay. Let's keep going back. I don't think it's this one. Oh, I'm such a dummy. I forgot to put calculator. Sorry about this. I didn't realize I was using the wrong one, but I think the actual decimal should be helping us out here. Okay, so no, that's not it. Let me see. Nope. Let me see if this one. I had it in the Google Classroom. I just forgot if I had it on here or not. Yeah, because that's not going to be it. Okay. Let me look for it, and then I'll come back once I have it ready. Alright, I think I found it. I mean, I don't know why it took me so long. Like, I had it on the Google Classroom, but I couldn't log in on this iPad. It's not the iPad I usually use. So, okay, so this is what we're going to have. Okay, so now we can actually type in the equation. You can see the line. Now we're going to type the other line that we have here. So, same thing. We're going to go and substitute the P for X and the M for Y. So, same thing. So, it's going to be 1X. Then you're going to be adding it by 3Y. And this is going to equal 22. Now, what you're going to go ahead and look for the point in which they are intersecting. And that is going to be your solution. Now, it is important for us to look for the right one, though. Right here it's asking how many magnets, right? So M is going to equal Y, so we're looking for the Y value. So in this right here, we have 4, which is X, 6, which is Y. So my answer for this one is this one right here. Now, that took me a little bit, just mainly because I didn't find my computer. Alright, well, I didn't find the right calculator for this. Alright, we're done with that one. Now, let's go right into number 5. This one seems a lot harder than it really is. It's not really that hard. Now, what you want to do with this one is that you want to substitute this whole thing for another variable. Okay, now the reason why I'm going to do that is because it's going to make everything a lot easier for me to solve the problem. Now, we need to figure out the value of this, right? Now, they're not asking for the value of X or Y. They're asking for both of them together. So that's why we can go ahead and substitute this for something else. So this is how it's going to work. Now, A is going to be my new variable, and that's going to stand for X minus Y. Now, I can, instead of plugging X minus Y, I'm going to go ahead and plug in A into the equation. And now you're going to see that you're going to have something that I'm pretty sure you guys can solve. Okay, so we're going to have this, right? We have 7A equals 4. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys know how to solve this. Pretty easy. You just go ahead and divide both sides by 7. Divide that by 7. So A has to be, I don't know, I guess it's a random message. Okay. So that is going to be my answer. So it's going to be 4 over 7. Pretty easy. Now, A is going to stand for this, so we know this has to equal to 4 over 7, regardless of whatever numbers you decide to put X or Y. So my answer for this one should say. Okay, so that's already that one. Now, And this one, whenever I was reading for this one for the first time, it actually kind of tripped me out. Now it's saying the average of an annual precipitation for Orlando is going to be this, 13/10. All right, so now in Columbus, the average annual precipitation, oh no, that's in Columbus. Now in St. Cloud is going to be approximately 7.10. All right, of the precipitation of Columbus. Now, if the average of the annual precipitation of Columbus is this, so 1,000 milliliters, approximately how many more milliliters of precipitation fall in Orlando than in St. Cloud? So what we're going to have to do first, we need to go ahead and multiply that 1,000 into those fractions. So this is going to be pretty easy. On your Desmos calculator, we can go ahead and start setting it up. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and do, let me go back on this one. This is what we do. So we're doing 1,000. And we're going to multiply by 13/10. Alright, and then you calculate, you can go ahead and do that whole thing. Just type it out. So 1,000. We're going to go ahead and multiply this by 13/10. Which is going to give me 3,000 or 1,300. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing for the other one. So it's going to be 1,000 times 7/10. Now I'm pretty sure I remember, and I can do some quick math. So that should be 700. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and subtract both of these ones together. So it's going to be minus 700. And like I said, if you're getting stuck, just go ahead and use your calculator. There's no shame in that. That's why they're letting you guys use this, just to make things a little faster. There we go. My answer is going to be 600. And that's how you work this one out. So you have to multiply by 1,000 on both of your fractions. Then once you have that, you're going to go ahead and get the difference between them. That's why I subtracted over here. And once you get the subtraction, then the difference is just going to be 600 for this one. Pretty straightforward. Okay? Now the following one, there's two ways that you can do this problem, and there's no easy way just doing this one. Alright, so what I would recommend you guys to do is just plug in the equation that you see on there. That's the easiest way. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to have 2.6 minus 3.5 parentheses squared minus parentheses 7.2. And then I'm forgetting the variables. Now for this one, I'm gonna go ahead and use the variable, I can't even speak, variable. So there's two ways. You can set it up to x to see what kind of line you're gonna get, or this is another way that you can do this type of problem, is just go ahead and set up the value of a to something. So actually, let me do that before I do that. Okay, so can I? All right, let's go ahead and delete that one. So one way that you can do this, and I'm going to pick a random number, so I'm going to put the letter A. Because I'm trying different things with decimals, so I want to see what works and what doesn't. So I'm going to put a 3. That is it. So A is going to equal to 3. That is it. Now, every time that I press anything with A, so let's say we have A, and I want to show you what it actually does. So A plus A is equal to 6. Now, why is decimals doing that? It's because we already assigned A to a certain number. So we stored a number into decimals. So now we can go ahead and type in the equation, and we can see which of the equations on the bottom is going to equal to that. So let's go ahead and do this. So again, same thing. Now this one just takes a little long, but once you have everything typed out, this is a question that you can get for sure. For sure, you can get it right just by typing everything down. So even though it takes a little longer than some of the other questions, I would say it's kind of worth it because you can guarantee that you're going to get these questions right every single time. So minus 3.5, and yes, 3.5, and then close parentheses, squared minus parentheses 7.3, and then we're going to go ahead and put A. To what power is the second power, right? Yeah, second power. minus, I'm gonna double check just once I'm done right typing everything out that I didn't mistake here. Alright, so that seems correct. Alright, as you can see, we get a negative 43.11. Now, I'm pretty sure this is not going to be my answer. This is going to be my answer. Now, my answer is going to be either one of the last two, I think. And I'm just guessing, like, my answer could have been, like, either the first or the second one. And if you type it in, you can probably check. And let me actually do that because I want to show you that. So, I'm not going to skip anything. I actually want to make sure I try and cover everything here. So, let's type it out. Let's not be lazy. So, squared. And then it's going to be minus 2.9. Now, as you can see, did that give me my answer? No. So, we can go ahead and type the second one. So, it's going to be negative 2.1 a squared plus 11.1. Did that give me what I wanted on the other one? Absolutely not. So we can go ahead. You can press enter. You can just click right below it, and then you can keep typing in your answer choices. Let's go ahead and do this one. So it's going to be 0.54. It's going to be a squared minus 18.2 a minus 8.25, or 15 actually. Alright, is that my answer? Not yet. Let's go ahead and try the last one, just to verify that we actually did everything correctly. So it's going to be a squared minus, it's going to be 18.2 a, finally, plus 16.35. And see what happened? My answer is going to be D because those two match. So, in other words, whenever you get a problem like this, and the keyword, and if you remember from the STAR test, if you see the word equivalent, you're going to be able to do this method most likely. So if you ever see the word equivalent in SAT, just make sure you know, like, hey, I can plug in the equation. All I have to do is store a number first, like we did at the beginning. We put AS3, and then we can actually type out the equations just like they are. Now, once you do that, you can actually just go ahead and see which one matches. And whichever matches is going to be your answer. That's as simple as that gets. All right, let's go ahead. Now, I'm pretty sure this type of questions are going to really trick people. Number 8, because they're basically just if you understand what you're reading. And even I myself, I'm terrible whenever I read like paragraphs and stuff like that. I get confused a lot. So this type of problems are my kryptonite. I suck at this ones. But even then, you just kind of have to be careful with them. So right here, the American Association of University Women. The American Association of University Women, AAUW, hopes to expand its reach by starting a total of T students, right? So we have T students, organization on college campuses each year. There were this amount of students at the beginning of the organization in the AAUW at the beginning of 2015. Which function best models the total number of students organizations Y that AAUW hopes to have X years after 2015. So this is just a handful whenever you read it. But now, I know I'm going to have to use a linear function. Now, the reason why I know that, and this is not because I already saw the answers, but I see that they're giving us a constant. Now, your constant means a number that's going to start right here. That's the beginning value of numbers that we're going to have. Now, what this means is, and it doesn't necessarily have to actually be true for this case, but just the way that it's written, this is kind of implies that it's not going to be an exponential function. It's not saying that this is going to be increasing by a certain amount of rate at this or this. It's just saying, okay, we want to see how many organizations we have right now and how many we're going to have a couple years from now. It's not asking, oh, there's going to be an exponential growth on this. If it implied that, then my answer would either be the first two, because those are exponentials. Those are not linear equations. Okay, so you got to be careful. What we're going to be working on today is my linear equations, one of those two. Now, once I have those two, I can actually go ahead and say which ones to pick. Now, whenever you have an organization, well, this is my constant value, right? And if you remember, whenever we have a linear equation, we're going to be using W equals mx plus b. Now, whenever you have this type of equations, now I'm going to look at the constant. That's going to be what's going to give the answer away to me. Now, whenever we're talking about the total number of organizations that we have, we want to see the total number, right? So S, in order to figure out the total number, we're actually going to have to add it. Because if we don't, then we would be subtracting to whatever we get extra. So that wouldn't give you the total. That would give you whatever's extra, but you would not be including the first organization that you started with. I know I'm saying a lot of words and probably doesn't make really sense, but this is how it should look like. So it's going to be Y Tx equals or plus your S. Okay, and I know it's going to be plus, so my answer is going to be this one. Because I'm trying to find the total. I'm not trying to find just the new organizations that are coming in. All right, now, like I said, those are going to be very confusing for many of you just because of the way they're written. And even I have trouble explaining them correctly. All right, now this one is pretty easy, but again, it's all about reading and understanding what you're reading. So the next problem, number 9, is exactly the same thing. It's going to be talking about the resistance, which is going to be R, of a conductor is found by dividing. So we're going to be dividing the voltage by the current I. Okay. Oh, well, voltage V across the conductor by the current I through the conductor, which for the following gives the voltage in terms of RV. So now what they're giving you here, they're giving you the formula for R. So they're saying R is going to equal to voltage divided by your current, which is going to be represented by I. Now they're asking you, what is the function for V? So now we're going to be talking in terms of V. So we're going to have to go ahead and solve for this. Now, how do I get rid of the I and move it to the other side? Now, in order to get rid of division, you got to do the opposite, which is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by I. So that's going to cancel out with that. And now that's going to go ahead and give me V is equal to IR, which if you see, my answer is D. This, I think, has kind of like physics, I think. This is kind of physics thing. It's been a while since I've taken physics, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the equations that you're probably going to see in your physics class. Now, let's go ahead and go to number 10. It says, like, in 1893, the Major League Baseball pitching distance from the pitcher plate to home base was increased from 50 feet to 60.5 feet. Which of the following is the closest to the increase in the pitching distance in Major League Baseball in meters? 1 meter is approximately 3 feet. Okay. So first of all, we need to see what is the difference. So in your calculator, which if you don't know how to do it, you just plug it in. So I'm going to take all of this stuff out. Now we're going to go ahead and type in 60.5 minus 50, because we're trying to see the difference between both of them. So I'm going to have it 10.5. Now, remember, this is in feet. All right, what are they asking for? The difference in meters. So 3 feet is going to equal a meter, which I don't think that's actually true. I might be them, but you know what? I don't even know what I'm saying. All right, so we're going to be dividing by 3. So that's going to help us convert my feet into my meters. So once we divide it, so over here we're going to go ahead and do 10.5 divided by 3, which is going to equal 3.5, and that is it. So my answer for number 10 is just going to be that one. All right, I'm going to do one more because this video is getting kind of long. So I'm going to try and stick like almost to just 30 minutes. So let's do the next one. So 11. So this one's going to say that in a survey of 529 social workers focusing on pediatric and adult services indicated by the highest level of education, if one of the social workers is selected at random, and here's where I'm going to start writing stuff down. Which of the following is the closest probability of social worker is a pediatric worker whose highest level of education is a doctorate degree? So, all right. So whenever you're doing, and for the most part, probability whenever it comes to SAT, what I've noticed so far is that they're doing pretty basic probability. So they're asking you for something and your total number of outcomes. So what that means, this is going to be how we're going to set up this problem. Okay, this is going to be total number of outcomes. That means how many options you get to choose from. And then on the top is what we're looking for. So the specific, what we looking for. All right, now let's go ahead and start setting up. The bottom part tends to be pretty easy because it's usually the total number. So what is the total number of people that were actually surveyed? That's going to be 529. Now, what are we looking for specifically? If you read closely, we're looking for pediatric, right? Oh, let me go ahead and change that one. So pediatric, and there we're looking for people who have a doctorate. All right, so that's going to be 221 people, which I'm actually going to go ahead and put that one on the top, and I'm going to label it like this. Boom. Now, let's go ahead and go to a Danda calculator over here. So 221 divided by 529. And which one looks like my answer? Well, we're going to have to round to the third decimal spot because that's what they're doing over here. So my answers for this one should be point. Let me go ahead and change colors here. So 0.418. Okay. So as you can see, my answer is B. That is a probability of me picking a pediatric social worker who also has a doctorate out of the survey. So that is probability. That's going to be the last one I'm going to do in this video, and then I'm going to do some more on another one. All right, the main reason why I'm doing it because they're getting really long, and I just kind of want you guys just to kind of maybe spend a couple minutes, watch this one, a couple minutes, watch the other one, and so on. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.